Hi guys, today I'm going to tell you about sheep and you're going to learn a lot. Let's begin. Sheep, there's multiple different colors of sheep, black sheep, white sheep, all different colors, and through breeding there's a lot of different combinations. I used to breed sheep when I was about 12. I got 2 sheep to start. Started growing the flock slowly but surely. It grew into about 12 sheep. It was a great experience, a lot of hardships, but I learned a lot. A lot of different uses for sheep. Sheep can be used for their meat. Their meat's very popular. Lamb chops is probably what you guys have heard of. Lamb chops are at multiple different restaurants. They can be cooked at home though. It's great meat. Sheep are also bred. Breeding is a great way that the sheep population's grown, and a lot of farmers, especially over in the UK, grow sheep, and they make a lot of money doing it. I love sheep. Like I said, I used to breed them. So Discovery Magazine, I found an article that actually said that sheep wool, all the way back from the ancient Egyptian times, was found today in overseas, I believe, and it was about, I think, 3,400 years old. That's crazy. That just goes to show how great sheep are and their wool. It's very hardy. It's still used to this day. Then in Sheep 201, I had a lot of information about breeding, which I love. I've used it in the past. And it says that their milk is also very popular and used. A lot of people love milk from sheep and prefer it over goats, which I found interesting because I know you hear a lot about goat milk. But what about sheep? National Sheep Organization. Looked up some information on there, and I found that in the UK, like I said, it's big. A lot of sheep are bred in the UK. Hot spot for them. You don't see as many flocks in America like you see in the UK. Very big down there. The association says that lamb meat is healthy and good for a balanced diet. That's what I found interesting. I think a lot of people are afraid to get into eating sheep meat because they're afraid of what's in it. They're used to chicken, steak, just the basic meats that we eat every day. OK State did a lot of research about Katan sheep. Katan sheep's the main breed that I dealt with. We're in Florida. That's where I live. In Florida, you can't have some of the more woolly sheep. You have to have what's called hair sheep. Hair sheep live in hotter areas. Katan sheep in particular were bred to be hardy, resistant against diseases. It's another thing that Oklahoma State talks about. Very hardy against diseases. You still have to worm them. Sheep have to be wormed about 2 times a year, and I found that's pretty hard. Some of my sheep weren't too tame, so I had to chase them down and really trap them to worm them. Worms are one of the biggest diseases that plague sheep, and one of the biggest reasons that you might lose a sheep or 2. Later in the presentation, we'll talk about when 2 of my sheep died, and one of them was a mom, and I had to pull the lambs because of worms. There's a research journal. Let me go back real quick. The research journal has a lot of great information and really talks about the advantages of sheep and a lot of stuff about them. Anyway, the research journal says that predation or sheep getting eaten by predators is a huge problem, really struggling to keep the sheep population big because of it. Predation plagues sheep all over the world, not just in the United States. But I also found in that research journal that 50% of veal or baby sheep meat is flown in from out of the U.S. So we get a lot of our veal from overseas. Now I want to talk about my experience with sheep. I had a mama due. She was due in about, any day. And she was at the end of the 155-day gestation period. It's how long sheep are pregnant for. She was on the ground. I thought it was going to be the day that she gave birth. Nothing happened. The next day, she was still laying on the ground, and any 4-legged animal shouldn't be on the ground. Very bad, especially with horses. But with sheep, She was down, so I went out to check after school one day. There were 2 legs sticking out. So I thought, okay, everything's going great. Well, 2 legs kept sticking out. They didn't come out anymore. Right before it got dark, I went out and realized that she had twins, and they were both trying to come out at the same time. So I got out there, put on gloves, and started to pull. It was very hard. I had to rearrange the legs. A lot of information on Sheep 201 about that. Rearrange the legs. Got one of the lambs out. It was breathing. We kind of nursed it. Then we went to go get the other one out. Finally pulled it out, and unfortunately we lost the sheep. We buried that. We nursed the other one. We named it Gator because I had to give it Gatorade for the electrolytes. And long story short, about a week later, we lost the mom too. So it's a pretty rough experience, but I learned about how fragile life can be. Learned a lot of good life lessons over the years with sheep. That's about it. I hope you guys learned something. Let's start the 2-minute Q&A.
How do you deworm sheep?
So wormer is found at like feed stores. You have to lock the sheep up, and you take the wormer, and there's a little gauge of how much weight. So if you have 200-pound sheep, you take it, you put the thing up to 200 pounds, and that's just how much medicine you're going to get. You squeeze it, and you put it in the sheep's mouth, and then you let it go. It just eats it. It's either banana flavored or a flavor they like.
What's the average lifespan of a sheep?
Sheep can live to be anywhere from 6 to 10 years old. Just depends. If they have a really easy life and they're kept in captivity and safe, they can live up to, like I said, 9 or 10 years.
Yeah, so I had a cousin that raised horses, and his horses would they would wear some silly little metal things on their feet, horseshoes I think they're called. Do sheep wear anything of the like?
No, sheep do not need those. Sheep actually have hooves. You trim the hooves. You don't want their hooves getting too long because they can break and actually cause bone fractures in their feet. There's a lot of information on that in the research journal, a little excerpt. But like I said, you just have to trim them. You do not put on anything like horses.
Do sheep have any natural predators, or is there like a hierarchy
So
of sheep?
for sheep, main predator I'd say wolves, coyotes, and then diseases. Diseases are huge. That's why I like Katahdin sheep, and the other breed I dabbled with was American black belly sheep. They're both hardy sheep, and that's why I chose them.
What's your average weight of sheep?
Average weight of sheep, probably for a ewe is a female sheep, is probably about 100, 125 pounds. With the rams, they can grow to be huge. Depending on the breeding, they can be anywhere from 150 to 250, 275 pounds.
Big ram.
That's about it. Thank you.